Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBayCrochet.com, and today I'm real excited to show you how to make the large wheat cable scarf. This is a scarf that can be made for men or women, and depending on the type of yarn you choose. So, and before we do that, if I could just ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you'd hit the thumbs up, if you like the video, that would be great too. And if you want to hear notifications from my channel, just hit that little bell. Let me go ahead and show you what you're going to need. Okay, for this project, I'm actually using a very special Australian yarn that I picked up about a year ago outside of Sydney at a wonderful, wonderful yarn store called Three Sisters. And this is a worsted weight yarn. I don't expect this is going to be readily available in the US, but for those of you in Australia, you should be able to pick some of this up. And for those of you who are looking at the name of the natural fibers here, the 10% possum is not the American possum, but rather a different variety of animal with very soft fur. So I just wanted to be clear about that. And in this particular ball, it has 219 yards. This is a worsted weight, but I'm going to suggest a substitute. This is about the same width, very soft feel. For those of you in the US and other places, this is the Red Heart Chic Sheep by Marley Bird. Hey Marley. And this again is a smaller number 4, but it is a number 4 weight yarn. You're going to need about 3 of these to complete the scarf that I'm going to show you. And here are the stats on this yarn. Slightly fewer yardage than what I showed you. It's 186 yards. It's 3.5 ounce, 100 grams. Okay, and in addition to this, I'm also recommending a size I or 9 or 5.50 millimeter crochet hook. And as always, have that handy dandy yarn needle and a pair of scissors ready to go. To begin, we are going to start with a slip knot, and we are going to chain 31 chains. After completing those 31 chains, we are going to work a row of double crochet starting in the 4th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4th chain from the hook. We're going to double crochet in that stitch and in each of the chains all the way across. After crocheting all the way across, you should have 28 double crochets plus the turning chain. For row number 2, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and this is where we begin the ribbing that will be at the beginning, or actually on each end of the scarf. We're going to skip the first stitch, and for the second stitch, we're going to take our hook and go around the stitch like this. It's like you're giving it a belt, and I'm just doing that for those of you who've never seen this. Then you complete the double crochet the way you normally would. After that, we work a back post double crochet, and we do that by we wrap the hook, we come in the back side, and the hook goes around the stitch and then back out to the back, and we tie it in the back of the stitch, and we just complete the double crochet the way we normally would. And we're going to alternate that back and forth all the way across. I'll do another one for you. Front post, and then back post. Front post, double crochet, and then a back post. Come in the back door. It's not as complicated as it looks. Actually, it's much easier than it probably looks if you're seeing this for the first time. But once you get the hang of it, your hands really do know what to do here. Okay, so go ahead and finish that all the way across, alternating front post, double crochet, and then back post, double crochet. At the end of the row, we are going to end with a front post, double crochet, and then a half double crochet worked in that turning chain, just like that. Now we're going to chain 2 and turn 1, 2, and now we're going to start with back post double crochet for this row of ribbing. Coming in the back door first, and then the front post. We're going to be working back post double crochets over the back post, and then front post over the ones that are sticking out in the front. Work front post over those. So go ahead and do this all the way across the row. This row ends with a back post double crochet, and just like we ended row 2 with a half double crochet worked in that chain 2 turning chain. And let's go ahead and turn, and this is what you should have after 3 rows. Okay, now for row number 4, we're going to chain 2, and this is actually an exact repeat of row number 2. We're going to start off by working a front post double crochet and then a back post double crochet. So go ahead and work that all the way across. Front post double crochet and then back post double crochet. This row ends the same way with a front post double crochet and then a half double crochet right there in the turning chain. So let's go ahead and turn. So they have 1, 2, 3, that was 4 rows, and we're going to work one more row of ribbing, chain 2, and row number 5 is the same as row number 3. We're going to start with a back post double crochet in that second stitch there, because again we're not working the end stitch, and then front post double crochet, back post double crochet, front post double crochet. So go ahead and work that all the way across. Row number 5 ends with a back post double crochet and then a half double crochet in that turning chain. Okay, so now we have completed the ribbing for the beginning of our scarf. Now at the end of row 5, your ribbing should look like this. Now if you want to have an even longer ribbing for your scarf, go ahead and add extra rows just like I showed you. You can repeat rows number 2 and number 3 until you reach the length that you would like the ribbing to be, should you want to adjust it. Okay, so now I'm going to go on though to row number 6, and this is going to begin the foundation for the cabling. I'm going to chain 2, and we are going to work in this chain 2 on our row following row number 6. Okay, I'm going to work a single crochet in that first stitch, a chain 1, and then a double crochet. Okay, so I've worked a single crochet, a chain 1, a double crochet in that first stitch. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're going to do that again. And this is what I call the wattle stitch. Single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet in that next stitch. Now we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're actually going to work a front post double crochet. And the next 2 stitches we're also going to work front post double crochets, again establishing the foundation for the cables that we're going to be forming. Okay, in the next stitch we're going to work a half double crochet worked through the top loops. That's very important. This is going to be part of the spacing that will help to define the cabling. It's kind of a unique cabling system that I've devised and really enjoy using. Kind of helps to smooth out the cables. Okay, so now the next 3 stitches we're just going to work front post double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and you guessed it, half double crochet through the top loops of that next stitch. We're going to do this again. 1, 2, 3 on the front post double crochets, and then half double in the next stitch. So let's take a look. Okay, so now we have 3 sets, 1, 2, 3 sets of these. We need to make one more because we need 4 sets of these for the cable we're going to use. 3 front post double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Now we do not work a half double crochet at the next because those are just spacings for in between, not on the outside. Okay, so now in the next stitch we are going to work a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet in that same space. Skip 2, 1, 2, and then single crochet, chain 1, double crochet in that next space for that wattle stitch, skip 2 spaces, 1, 2, and then we are just going to single crochet in that last stitch. So this is what you should have after row number 6. Okay, for row number 7, we're going to turn. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Now, for the wattle stitches, we're going to make more wattle stitches, but we're going to work them only in the chain 1 space. Okay, so we're going to be skipping the single crochet and the double crochet of these wattle stitches. I just wanted to make that clear. We're going to skip the first stitch here and this double crochet again, and we're going for that chain 1 space. We're going to work a wattle stitch, single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Go to the next chain 1 space. There should only be 2. Single crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Now we're going to work back post double crochets over these front post double crochets from the previous row, now that they're on the back side. So 3 back post double crochets, 1 in each of those 3 stitches, a half double crochet in the half double crochet, and then back post double crochets in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Again, a half double crochet. I know this is very redundant. You're going to hear me say this a lot, but whenever you come to the half double crochet, you usually work a half double crochet, and a post stitch usually gets a post stitch of some sort. So 3 more back post double crochets, half double in that half double crochet, and there are 3 more back post double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Now this brings us to the wattle stitches, and again we just work in that chain 1 space. We work a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet, and do it in the next one. Single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then we have that chain 2 space. It might be a little tricky to find. We'll go ahead and put a single crochet in that chain 2 space. Let's go ahead and turn, and this is what you should have. Let's go ahead and chain 2. This is starting row number 8. Again, whenever you have those wattle stitches, just working in that chain 1 space, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, okay, and now we're going to get to where we actually cross the cables, and this is kind of interesting. We're going to skip the next 3 post stitches. We're going to half double in that half double, and then we're going to work a front post treble crochet, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches, and we only work these when we cross the cables. Okay, front post treble, front post treble, front post treble. Let's take a look at what we have right now. That looks like kind of a mess, I know, but I promise it's going to look a lot better in just a few minutes. Okay, now what we're going to do here is a little unconventional. Again, this is, you can blame me for this. I came up with this idea. But so we're going to work 3 front post trebles, 1 in each of the 3 stitches skipped, starting with the one furthest away, this one, then this one, and then this one. And we're going to have these behind the last 4 stitches, the half double and these 3 front post trebles. How in the world do we do that? It's not as hard as it sounds. We're going to come actually in the back door through this hole, and then we're going to wrap our hook around here. Helps me to pop my thumb through that hole, and then I can actually use the feeling in my tall man and thumbkin here to tell me where to direct my hook. Okay, let's do that again. You come into the hole. I'm going to put my thumb right there, and I can feel that this is the second stitch. And then I complete that next treble, and we have one more, which is right here. Okay, hopefully that's clear. I do have other videos that spend a lot more time on this stitch should you want to or need to look at those. Then we half double in the next half double crochet. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches, half double in that next half double crochet, and we're going to front post treble in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now this is a little bit easier. We're going to work in front of the last 4 stitches, and we're going to work front post trebles in the 3 stitches that we just skipped, starting with the one that's farthest from our hook. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and let's stop for a second and take a look. This is what you should have, something that looks like this. This cable is going to be turning this direction and this cable the other direction. Now we only have 2 more waddle stitches to work in those chain 1 spaces. Go ahead and do those waddle stitches. Single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now this chain 2 should be a little bit easier to find. It's right there. And go ahead, put a single crochet in that spot, and then we just finished row number 8. Let's go ahead and try row number 9 with chain 2, and again work waddle stitches in the chain 1 of the previous waddle stitches. Now we're going to work 3 back post double crochets. Make sure we go back to double crochets. These are not trebles. Trebles are only for crossing the cables. Okay, after I do those 3, you're going to see that there's a space in between the last 3 stitches and the next 3 stitches. Go ahead in that hole there and put a half double crochet. That helps to keep that space defined. And then we're going to back post double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Skip this half double crochet, and the next half double crochet, put a half double crochet. And don't worry about the stitch count. This will all work out, and I'll explain that later. Now we're going to do 3 more back post double crochets. 1, 2, 3, half. Let me go ahead and show you this before I do it. Now this is where the other cable crossed, okay? So we're going to put a half double crochet right in that space. It's just put your hook right in there. And then 3 more back post double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then we do the waddle stitches in the chain 1 space, just 2 of those. Okay, and then single crochet in that chain 2 turning chain, and let's take a look at what we have. You can see it's helping to further define the work that we've done. Now I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to begin row number 10. We're going to do those 2 waddle stitches, and this row is very much like the way we started this. We're going to work front post double crochets in the next 3 stitches, and then half double, working through the top loops of that half double crochet. It's right in the middle. And then we have 3 more front post double crochets, half double in that next half double crochet, and then 3 more front post double crochets, and then half double in that next half double, and then 3 more front post double crochets, and then waddle stitches, and those 2 are in the chain 1 spaces there. Well, I don't think I got that one just right. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Make sure I'm putting it in the right place, and then the chain 2 at the end. Just put your single crochet there, and let's take a look and see what we have here. Okay, so it's coming along nicely. Now the next row, row 11, is actually a repeat of row, let me see, that would be row 7, but I'll go ahead and show you. It's working those waddle stitches in those 2 chain 1 spaces. In case you haven't guessed, each row is going to start the exact same and end the same way with these waddle stitches and so forth. Okay, the only thing that's different is the middle, the cable. Now for this, we're just going to do 3 back post double crochets, and then a half double crochet in the half double, and we're going to repeat that 3 more times across. So 3 back post double crochets, and then a half double crochet, 3 more back post double crochets, and then a half double crochet, and then 3 more back post double crochets. I think I need some more yarn. There we go. And then, like I said, each of these rows are going to end the same way with a waddle stitch worked in the chain 1 spaces, and there are 2 on each side of the cable, and then a single crochet in the chain 2 space. Let's take a look at what we have now. And this is after 11 rows. Now we're ready to begin row number 12. And row number 12 is the same as row number 8, where the cables were crossed. So I'm going to show that to you one more time. I'm going to chain 2, and we're going to work those 2 waddle stitches at the beginning of the row. And now this is where we begin the crossing of the cables, and I think this will help give you a better idea of how this is going to look. We're going to skip the next 3 stitches, half double crochet in that next half double, front post treble in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Now working behind the last 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble in the 3 stitches that we skipped. Remember, we come into this big hole here, and I'm actually going to put my thumb up in the hole so that I can actually feel where that first post stitch is, and we do a front post treble. And then let's look at the next one, which is going to be right here. And then the third one, which is going to be right here. Go ahead and you can see that. I can feel it better than I can show it to you, but if you do this a couple times, I think you'll get the hang of it. Then we do a half double crochet in that half double crochet. Skip the next 3 stitches, half double in the next half double, and it does look like a mess, granted you, but it's going to clear up in just a second. Now we do front post trebles in the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. And now working in front of the last 4 stitches, we're going to front post treble in the 3 stitches that we skipped, and this is the easier part of the cabling. 1, 2, and 3. And then we follow that with the 2 waddle stitches worked in those chain 1 spaces. Let's make sure I get the right space. There we go. And then single crochet in that chain 2 turning chain. And so this will give you a better feel. Yeah, this is going to all settle out, I promise, as you work the next, there you go, work the next series of rows. Now, at this point, we just finished 12 rows. Okay, from row 13 onward, what we are going to do is we are going to repeat rows 9, 10, 11, 12. If you're not sure what that looks like, you can just back up this video and I'll put a little time mark down across the bottom if you need that, or you can just simply go back to where row 9 begins and just repeat that over and over until you have approximately 29 cables, or until it's the length that you want it to be. Okay, and then I will show you how to return to the ribbing at that point. After repeating this many times until I have the length that I am comfortable with, and I'll go ahead and post that down below. Of course, there's no hard and fast rule as to how long you need to make this. Okay, some of you may prefer something shorter, and some of you may prefer a scarf that's longer. All you need to do is remember to repeat that 4 row repeat. And then now I have ended the last row was with the back side facing and using the back post double crochets. Now I'm going to show you how to add the ribbing onto the other end. Okay, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we are going to work 2 double crochets in that first chain 1 space, and then we're going to work 1 stitch or 1 double crochet in that single crochet. Okay, so basically we are skipping the first stitch as we've been doing all along, and we are not going to work in the double crochet. So I'll do this again, 2 double crochets in that chain 1 space, and then 1 in the single crochet. And now I'm going to just continue working front post double crochets, 1 around each of those front post stitches, part of the cable, and then work a double crochet right in the top of that half double crochet. So we're just going to work this all the way across. I'll go ahead and work this row for you because it's pretty unusual. It's the only one worked in quite this manner. Double crochet in the half double crochet. Again, front post double crochets over those post stitches. Whoops, let's try that one again. That one got away from me. Okay, now we get to the last 2 waddle stitches, and we do just what we did before. We're going to work 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space, and then 1 in the single crochet. 2 double crochets in that chain 1 space, and then 1 in the double crochet. And please notice that we're not going to use the chain 2 space. We're just going to leave that unworked, and this is what you should have after that row. So at the beginning of this row, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to start with a back post double crochet since we have the back side facing, and then follow that with a front post double crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across. Back post, double crochet, followed by a front post double crochet. Okay, so go ahead and work that all the way across. Once we get to the end of the row, we work a front post double crochet and then a half double crochet in that chain 2 space. Okay, let's go ahead and turn, and you see what we have at the end of that row. Now we're going to repeat this a total of 3 more times because we already have 2 rows here. 1, 2. So we're going to repeat row 2 3 more times, starting with a back post double crochet and then a front post double crochet, and alternating that all the way across. So go ahead and finish those next 3 rows, and then I'll show you the last stitch. After working that all the way across, we're going to work a half double crochet in the last chain 2 space, and go ahead and give it a chain, give it a pull, and go ahead and cut yourself a nice long strand. And I'm going to give you just a quick tutorial on how to use this yarn needle and hide this loose strand. Okay, first we thread the needle, and we want to have the back side facing as we do this. And I'm just simply going to weave this down into the stitches. And with this kind of a fibrous yarn, it's going to be fairly easy to hide this stitch, okay, or rather the strand. And let's see, I'm going to just run it down into these stitches. I hope you can see this. This is a little slower than I usually do it. It's not something that's super complicated at all. And you just want it to, go down enough so that there's going to be friction to, hold this stitch down into your stitches, or this thread into the stitches. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to carefully trim the thread, making sure that I don't cut my stitches. And I am done with that. So I just have a couple more strands to hide where I joined my extra ball of yarn, and then I'm going to show you the finished product here. I hope you enjoyed making the large wheat cable scarf with me. If you did, if you could just hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button because you're not going to want to miss any of the new offerings from my channel. God bless. Bye-bye.